Hello everyone, good evening, namaste to Upskill with Abhishek. All our viewers who are listening us in podcast, in Spotify or our YouTube channel, Upskill with Abhishek, we have a wonderful new guest today. And guess what? Reshu Bansal. Reshu is an amazing individual, first of all, a nice corporate professional. I know him from quite a long time now and expert in the product management field. He is leader. He has led project management in great details in corporates. He has run long books on the corporate lending side with the corporates. Currently, he's the CEO of PrimeWise, a strategy and consulting firm. He's a meditator as well, and you can see the smile he carries with him, which makes him very simple and yet very profound professional. And I am Bangalore alumni, and always eager to work towards making India shine by bringing in new product innovations in the field of fintech, in the field of adtech, advertisements. So, Reshu, welcome to you. Welcome to the show, Upskill with Abhishek.
Thank you, Abhishek. It's a pleasure being here, and thanks for the kind words. And I believe that yes, I have watched listened to a previous podcast, and they're pretty amazing. Congratulations on doing this wonderful stuff, and you are giving a lot of knowledge, and I think bringing smile to a lot of faces. Thank you for that.
Reshu, India is inching towards the $5 trillion economy. We want to be 5 trillion. Of course, we crossed the GDP 4 trillion last week. And the current governance structure is such that they are giving new platforms for innovations, especially for the youth, for the young ones. And also, a lot of impetus is given to capital support to these startups. And you have come and you worked in fintechs, you worked in edtechs, and you yourself are leading a consulting assignments. I want to know your perspective in terms of how do you see this field of consulting, this field of project management going to help us scale as economy, as country?
Okay, so see, I believe consulting will have a very significant role to play in when it comes to economy, when it comes to shaping up the country, because a country's economy is a reflection of how well the company's business ecosystem, the startup ecosystem is doing. And consulting has been playing a role and will play a very significant role in shaping up the overall economy, right? Because as again, I think this is something that is a very like more than 95% of the businesses, they are not able to go beyond the first year of operation. And why is that? If we go deeper into the reason, that's not because of just the funding part or just the money problem or any other issue, but it's like, we see so many startups coming on board these days. We see so many individuals who are ready to take the risk, who are ready to go, like invest maybe their entire life savings. Why? Because they want to do that, and it's a very healthy sign for the economy of the country. But where they lack is sometimes the skills,
Mhm.
sometimes the business, the business perspective. For a business to run, many times we think that, oh, if I have to run a business, I need to have the core skill, which is absolutely essential, no doubts about that. But is it the only thing that's required? No. For example, like one of the companies that we were consulting from PrimeWise Consulting earlier, they were, if I have to be very honest and prune, they were a bunch of coders who had developed amazing product, and they were struggling from last 4 years, right? From last 4 years, they had developed a good product. They were not clear how this product, where this product fits, how to sell the product, and they were struggling profoundly. Then when I joined the company as a consultant, when I looked at the product, when I looked at the product market fit, I realized that they are doing such big mistakes. They had the rundown, they had the runway for just 3 months left when we started. They were not able to pay, but the problem, but when we realized and we gave them proper suggestion, when we basically, they were just looking at the core part, we handled the entire business, and now they are doing pretty well, right? Because core functionality, when it meets business, right, business acumen and proper guidance, that's when a proper business is formed. And in our country, I think this is something which is very required, right? Not just passion and the core expertise is not enough. The business side, understanding how the market is changing, right? How to deal with that, how to make sure it's not just a product is good, that's enough. We have to make sure that it reaches to the right set of people. If I talk about website, there are millions of website. How will your customer reach you? That becomes a very big point. So yes, I think consulting, if consulting again, but one more thing, it has to be accessible, right? I see many top companies, like again, people know about consulting, but one very big notion that they've made, that consulting is way too expensive. It will not suit the pocket. So again, and some companies are doing that, but if done in the right manner, if it's done with a zeal, with a motive to take businesses forward, it can do really well.
Yeah, and that's what the important piece of having the people with the right skill sets, and
Absolutely.
while you build businesses, while you have technology understanding, but you don't know how to offer them to the right people, that's what expertise of Reshu Bansal, of course, and his skill sets can come into play. Reshu, you've
I,
been
one thing I would say, it's not just about me. A lot of
yeah.
time people like, I'm not right now marketing myself, but I
Mm,
feel at times when it may be anyone, right?
mm,
The main point is, if your business is in need of help, take help. I've seen many founders who are, who see that they're struggling with business decisions, but they're too proud that no, I can handle it myself, and they don't seek help, and that kills. And when they are like in a very dire state, then only they come for consulting.
mm, mm.
But had they gone for it earlier, that they could have grown the business to a very significant aspect by now. So again, it's not just me, but if you feel you are lacking in any particular business skill, go see, like as we say, if you have any problem, let's say you have any health issue, go see a doctor, a specialist as soon as possible.
So
Same with business.
I agree with you, second you, because unless you know who is the right person to guide you at the right point of time, it's very difficult to maneuver towards the tough situations of life. Reshu, you've been helping with your skills for facilitating growth in revenues with many companies. Please share your success stories, especially those who are listening and watching us. What's your takeaway and your growth story and success story here?
Well, there have been many, across the years. For one company, I have, it was a fintech product that have grown from 4 crores a month to 53 crores a month in just 8 months, right? It was an Indian,
That's a significant
yes.
enhancement. Please tell the story. How is this going so successful?
Again, that was a, like, if I would say no, it started as a pure product, side involvement. I looked at the product first. How can we, grow the product? What are the bottlenecks? What are the for me, the first and the most important aspect of any product is customers. I think sometimes product managers I see, they get too they get too much in love with their product, that they forget the most important aspect, which is the customer,
Mm.
right? It's not the quality of your product that will sell it. It's if your product is really able to solve the customer problems, right? If your product is really made for the customer, your product may have 100 qualities, but if what your target customers are, and if your product is not able to solve all their problems which are targeted towards this product, your product is waste. They'll go for another product which solves it better, right? So you have to look for your target audience and how they do it. And again, that's the same thing I did. I did proper customer segmentation, and for each segment, what can be a proper product. So starting with a single product, I got 3 different products which can categorize, which can basically be applicable to 6 different customer segments, and that was a hit, right? Different bottlenecks. Then again, having those creative solutions, right? As we say, right, not all the problems have very simple direct solutions. Sometimes you have to be very creative, right? In the fintech space, like how we can do, and again, there were a lot of creative solutions that I was able to employ when it comes to the verification methods, the, you know, finding the frauds, what could have been done. And all of this, I think those 8 months, and again, as I said, what started as a pure product assignment, later it got into so many different aspects. Product, then whether your marketing is done right. If you have a very amazing product, but your marketing, is not reaching out the target customers, but those customers which are not the target audience, it's not going to go well. If your sales team is able to sell the product nicely, right? So all these things, combination of that, finance, sales, human resource, a good product, a good, business success, I would say, is a combination of all of these, right? Every vertical fished together, right? Then there was another customer recently, like not recent, it's been 6 months. We took them, we pitched to them. And actually, what started as with them, we started on a 15-day assignment, right? It went so well that these days we are handling their entire business, right from marketing to sales to entire product strategy to how to, how would their business grow. We created the entire roadmap, and now we are taking care of almost all this, the business side of things. And right now we are helping them with the business revenue, with generating the, revenue part, and now to the funding side, right? And their revenue has grown. Like when we started with them, they had only 2 customers, and they were doing like negligible business. But now the company has, almost like in next 3 to 4 months, they'll cross the break even, and they are doing pretty well now, right? So when I see those success stories, I think I feel like, yes, we are doing something great. We are helping those which are really in need, and we are making our mark.
No, that's absolutely goes on to prove that the consulting and consulting at the right point of time, and handling those nitty-gritties and small issues which is stopping you to sort of get your BP break-even point, sometimes going to help in a long way. Reshu, you worked with many other companies across Europe. I think you've done an assignment with Israel as well. You were there on site in Israel. Tell us something about it. How was it, and what was it, and how we been contributing there as Indians, as Bharati, Israeli company?
Israel was a beautiful assignment, I think. So actually, there was this, Indian agriculture firm that reached out to us, and they wanted the, solution for smart irrigation, right? So we basically, like, we started with them, looked out for the companies like across the globe who are providing those solutions. Figure out, we reached out to like many companies across Israel, Philippines, Japan. Like again, there were many such countries, but we zeroed in on, one company in Israel. And for their joint venture, I traveled to Israel to facilitate the joint venture. It was a big success. We were able to facilitate the joint venture. They were able to share, like the Indian company and Israeli company. They both were able to share a lot of technology, manpower, and their uh, like how they can together become a big success story across India and Israel. And from what I realized when I was there in Israel, that was very interesting. Israelis are so good when it comes to the startup ecosystem. I think Israel has one of the best startup ecosystem in the world. In fact, when I was there, I met the who's who of Israel. In fact, I met the person who was responsible, who has made the startup ecosystem of Israel from scratch, and the guy is amazing. I encourage you to search for him, right, and find out more about him. But yeah, one thing I'll tell you, like what Israel does for startup ecosystem. So there they select many companies on merit, depending on their ideas, and they give them free hand. For example, like if you're successful, go for it. If you're not, whatever the expenses, whatever you have lost, the government will pay for it. They make it fail proof.
Oh, that's a very great amount of support. People, the founder can think and do what they want freely rather than getting subdued by the fact that there will be losses if the venture doesn't go well.
Exactly. Most of the time I see founders, they're, being tied up, being taken aback by money. Oh, I can't do this. It will cost me a lot. I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't do that. But when you take away the fear of failure, then sky is the limit. Right. And this, when I saw that, and it's not happening like from last 1 year, 2 years, it has been happening from a very long time. And that is one of the reasons that Israel is at forefront. They are a very small country. but they have made disruptions. Another thing which I really liked, I think that many people already know that, they have like compulsory military serving, right? Most of the people, they have to like, either you have to serve in military or you have to do a community service after your, before college. And that installs a sense of patriotism, discipline, that, and if they're doing the social service, that connection and that, empathy for others. And when this is what is installed in any child from a young age, they are destined for bigger things. And I think these two things really, made Israel stand apart from others. And while I was there, I had a great fun, you know. And seriously, I think India, from its partnership with Israel, can take up so many things when it comes to especially technology.
India today is the third largest fintech startup ecosystem after the US and the China. And we have also seen that a lot of fundings and a lot of encouragement is happening, especially in the fintech side of these startups. And the way the UPI has seen a trajectory of growth, the way we are seeing a lot of innovation in the product, like credit lines through UPI. Likewise, we are also seeing a lot of regulatory implications coming from the regulator, like RBI coming heavily on the loan app frauds, and the way they are trying to ensure that the digital lending space is well taken care and no illegal applications get involved in the entire scheme in the business and harass the customer. Customer centricity is what RBI is concerned with, and also RBI is also concerned with the stability of the entire system. And Reshu, you were the product manager. You have worked on the lending side very exhaustive, and you have seen that amount of growth in the loan portfolio in the lending side. Now, how do you see the recent context and the regulatory challenges which our ecosystem, of course, has to overcome and be compliant in all aspects? As a product manager, as a product leader, having worked on that space, what's your thought and what's your guidance to the people who are product managers sitting in those fintechs to take care while devising, working on these new lines of businesses?
Well, when I started, working on in this segment, the regulations were quite relaxed, I think, back then. And I have seen those regulations changing, the entire landscape changing, in fact, right? Earlier, it used to be a space which was dominated by Chinese player, either directly Chinese companies, or most of the, Indian fintech companies would have Chinese investment, right? And that was quite so. And then again, a lot of companies mushroom. In US, the space is almost saturated, and it's not saturated now. It has been years, right? Almost like 5 to 6 years. It has been saturated quite heavily, right? And India has been looked upon as, the market, the leading market where the fintech sector can bloom, and rightly so, right? It has bloomed like anything. And in fact, if I say that, it is far away from getting saturated as of now. Lots and lots of companies are coming, and it is very important in the current scenario that RBI, a regulator like RBI, stepping in and making sure that customer don't get harassed, because it's very, very easy in today's times for customers to get harassed, especially in like online lending segment, right? And I think RBI is doing a fab job. It is making it a little difficult for new companies to come in, but I think this is very important as well, right? If you don't put these sort of regulations, if you don't impose stricter regulation, people will take benefit of it in the negative way, right? So while yes, in the long run going forward, we have to look for a balance where regulations should be such that they are, they're not again, regulation many a time what they do, they start curbing innovation, right? They stop the chance for companies to grow. So it should not go to that extent, but having said that, if done in the right way, regulations can also, you know make the innovation grow. Because again, you see, the landscape so far, there have been many times when, for example, earlier, the lending product, the lending companies, they can provide lending for as short period as 15 days, and companies were doing that, right? Then it was not done by RBI, in fact, it was done by Google apps. that Google Play Store, they imposed an restriction that if you have to list yourself on Google App Store, right? You have to be, the minimum lending period would have to be more than 60 years. This was back in 2019, right? And companies complied with that. I'll not say every company complied. They found smart solutions, but they did that, right? In today's time, the business is so huge that even with regulation, companies will find a way, right? To me. So I think RBI is doing a great job. They have to continue doing that, right? But again, the compliance should not be so much that it start curbing innovation. But as long as that is happening, I think it is in the right direction, right? We just need to make sure that not many people who are, who are trying to take benefit of this, and scam people, they should not flourish. And I think currently RBI is doing a great job at that.
I've been posting and sharing this in LinkedIn quite often after I saw a lot of fintechs and a lot of banks are being penalized by the regulators, especially because of non-compliance on fair practices code or KYC or for that matter digital lending guidelines. What I have witnessed in my personal experience is that the regulator wants you to innovate. The regulator wants you give you the space to think. And that's why they have this the regulatory sandbox. We had the fourth sandbox on MSME lending, and then followed by cross-border payments and digital payments. And they want, and the fifth one is of course doesn't have any specific agenda, but it is the fifth quarter has also come up. They want you to innovate, but not at the cost of non-compliance, which means you need to follow law of the land. Yes.
Very simply putting, they don't want this space to go down.
Yes.
Even they're making their bread and butter from this space. That everyone wants fintech to flourish, even RBI. They don't want to curb innovation. Their problem, what they're trying to make sure is for people to have a safe space. And again, this is not some, curtains, pillows, or, some wood material, some showpiece item where, even if your, item doesn't look as good, it's okay. This is people's hard-earned money, right?
Absolutely.
They have to make sure that it is not going in the wrong hand. So of course, if you are coming to this space, like again, if you don't know swimming, you should not go into water. As simple as that. If you want to make money, this is the space, you have to be ready for the compliance, because this is pure money, right? So I personally feel that yes, while companies, again, if I am in that business, RBI impose another regulation, it will pain me. But if we look at the bigger picture, I think it is for the greater good.
Absolutely. Doing business in a compliant manner, so that you have ethics in place, you have regulatory aspects in place, and of course you can go big with all compliance. So Reshu, as we progress in our journey of this conversation, we have come to a small section where I generally pick up this book from quotes by Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji. His book is on leadership, and since we are talking on the leadership, I want you to pick from 1 to 75 any number, and then I will go into that page to see what message we have for all the leaders. Page 1 to 75.
Before I do that, I have to say this. I've read this and it is fab. This is something I will recommend to, I think, everyone here. Go check out this book. The sort of messages this book has, I think whichever page I pick, it will have a gem. And let's do that. I'll take any. Okay, 37.
37. Okay. So I am on the page number 37. And I read the quote. It says, leadership has meaning only when there is chaos. If everything is smooth, a leader has nothing to do. He has no role to play. I will again repeat. Leadership has meaning only when there is chaos. If everything is smooth, a leader has nothing to do. He has no role to play. Your thoughts, Reshu?
True. I like, again, this is something I totally relate with, and I second it, because again, if everything is too smooth now, then I think you are not pushing people enough. As a leader, it's a very delicate balance between making sure that your team is happy, they are, in a very great atmosphere. At the same time, they are being pushed enough to achieve brilliance and success, right? It is that delicate balance, right? And chaos is a part of it, right? If there is no chaos, that means simply you are not pushing them enough and they are not doing they are not giving their 100%. Because when everyone around you in your team is giving their 100%, it is bound to be chaotic. And I've seen many leaders who are so afraid of chaos, who are so afraid of, any fights, any problems arising in their team, that they become on the defensive side immediately. But I feel as a leader, you have to be okay with that. You have to make sure in a family, right? Do we not fight?
Absolutely.
There are disagreements, and that is the beauty. If there is no fight, if there is no disagreement, you are doing somewhere something wrong. You'll not be able to grow. Similarly, your company, your team is your family, and that is what personally I believe in. There are a lot of leaders who don't believe in this, but I personally do. And if there are no disagreements, if there are no fight, if there's no chaos, I think you're not utilizing your full potential. As a leader, you have to be ready for it. You have to be okay for it, but you have to make sure that your team goes through all the chaos, all the disagreements, to find the common ground and achieve success. That is the most important part.
Yeah, so true. If everything is going well, when are you going to be tested? If things are on and off, if you are tested and you prove it, that's what you prove your leadership. And that's what this beautiful message by wonderful book by Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar ji on leadership. And I always pick up this book in my conversation with leaders like you. Reshu, of course, we are running into the closer of the session, but I want to quickly check on a couple of points. One, your quick message and takeaways for the product managers, especially those who are working in the fintech space.
Well, data. I think one thing, you have to make sure that you respect data, right? Look at the customers. For you, the customers are not just a money making avenue for you. In this space or in any space, customers are king, right? If you correctly figure out what the problems are, if you focus on solving customer problem, you'll never, be left behind. So focus on that. And, again, one other thing I say to all the product managers, right? That your job is not just to look after the product. You are the mini CEOs. You have to make sure that you are aligning yourself with all the verticals, be it sales, marketing, finance, HR. Be in touch, operations, be in touch with all of them, and make sure that you have, the lookout, you have the knowledge, you have the, the working relationship with all the verticals, and that will really help scaling your product and making you better as a product manager.
Yeah. You've been an avid traveler, you're a photographer, you're also a meditator. Your quick takeaways of benefits of doing meditation and yogic practices regularly for working professionals like us who go to corporates. Quickly, your thoughts and how they can benefit them if they do it as their daily practice.
Abhishek, had you asked me this, let's say 10 years back, I would have said, oh, this is a very good to do thing. You should do it. But now, what I would say, that meditation is not an option. In today's time, the sort of stress, the sort of tension, the sort of, things we are bombarded with, it is a must thing to do, right? Meditation can really, like, again, if I talk about me, the biggest achievements that I had in my career, right? Meditation has been the one constant thing that has taken me through all this. Whether it was, preparing for CAT, I cracked CAT in just 4 months, right? Scored 99.76 percentile. And I tell you, those 4 months, had I not been meditating regularly, it would have been very difficult. Be it my IIM days, my time at Kellogg School of Management, be it my time in my organization, my role as currently as a CEO, I start my day with meditation. And that is something that helps me be calm, be grounded, and go through my entire day like it's like butter, right? So this is something I encourage each and every one of you. It's not an option. You must do it, right? And, try out. There are many different, like I've tried so many ways of meditation. One which has been one, like I practice 3 meditations. One is Sudarshan Kriya, which is amazing. Other is Sahaj meditation, and then focus on breathing. So these 3 have been working out pretty well for me. So, but again, you can find out and try which one works for you the best.
Absolutely, because I've done a little research on few of the yogic practices, especially sky breathing meditation, and I found it increases a lot. It reduces the stress. It gives you good job performance. It gives you well-being at various levels. So I think, of course, what Reshu says is absolutely right. if you inculcate.
Abhishek, I read your research, and again, this is something I second with. Sky is basically Sudarshan Kriya. This is the first meditation that I'll keep in my suggestion. This is the best. It has worked the best for me. Abhishek has done a very solid research. If you guys have not checked it out, you should.
Oh, I think
This is
absolutely. Nice, Reshu. Thank you so much for coming. It's a nice time spending with you. A lot of learning for product managers, and all the best to you for all your future endeavors. Thank you. Take care.
pleasant. Thank you so much for